We are actually surrendering our children at a very critical stage of their development.
Many mothers would love to see their children hit every development milestone under their care, but only a few of them can achieve this aspiration. Work commitments in today's fast-paced world have made it hard for employed women to spend quality time with their babies because they spend long hours at work. Many opt for maids to take care of their children, others daycare centers, while others leave the kids with friends or relatives.
For a child to be left there without a mother, it would have been 6 months.
A facility at the workplace or nearby where a mother can keep her child could bridge the gap for parents who the other options are not applicable. But not many companies or institutions in Uganda run nurseries, probably because they're not mandatory. Long-serving legislator Cecilia Ogwal, who represents Dokolo Women, has been a key women's rights activist. She says this is the time to think of how to fully integrate women in the workforce.
It is important that the government should come up with a policy. How do you take care of a woman who wants to advance in her career and at the same time does not want to hurt the family?
In November 2015, Parliament opened a daycare center for female MPs and staff. This is probably the first of its kind for a public institution. Ogwal, one of the MPs who pushed for this facility, says this should be a model for other institutions, especially those that have many female employees.
We had women who would have children, and at some point in time, you know, the lactation, you see the milk leaking, which means I need to breastfeed my child, and yet you cannot. If you are to run home, breastfeed the child and come back, there's a lot of work which you ought to have done, which you cannot do.
Meg Evans Behangana is a police officer working with the Parliament Surveillance Unit. The mother of two cannot be grateful enough. She works with the National Assembly. Her child spends the day at the daycare center as she works.
It's relieving. Even when you're at work, you perform better because you know your child is nearby, you have nothing to worry about.
Like many working parents today, Behangana has had her share of experiences with housemates.
They're not professional enough to take care of the children we leave them with. Regardless of the care you give them, they won't give it to your children. If anything, sometimes some of them leave them to go hungry.
From time to time, she pops into the center to breastfeed her 9-month-old baby, who is taken care of alongside others by professional nannies paid by Parliament. She would have loved to have the same care at home, but
you cannot afford a nanny who is professional because even our salary structures cannot allow it, because you cannot be getting pennies and you also give someone pennies.
Children live in an environment similar to that of home. A play area, resting room, and a breastfeeding room for mothers.
This is one of the rooms at Parliament's daycare center. At any other workplace, it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but it could be something similar. A place where a mother can come and be able to check on their child regularly, where research shows that such places or such spaces can help the mother concentrate at work, but will also help mothers be able to lactate their children exclusively for at least the first 6 months, as recommended by the World Health Organization.
Many women are not as lucky. Women's rights activists have been pushing for similar conditions for working parents because children need to be raised in the best way possible.
We are losing women in employment. I know a doctor who is seated at home, and in this country we need these doctors. She is seated at home because of issues of maids. She says, I want to first give birth, I finish this business, after maybe I'll go and lecture, but she is a pediatric doctor. We need these people.
Ogwal wants a national policy to make it mandatory for institutions, especially those with many female employees, to set up spaces for women to breastfeed and have children play or sleep at the parents' workplaces.
And you have a disabled child. Even if this child is not of the age that will require a nanny, but still this child requires attention, extra attention.
But this approach could cause another problem. Organizations may be reluctant to employ females to avoid the extra cost of setting up and running daycare centers. The policy could help parents deal with the escalating problems associated with households and also increase their productivity at work. Gertrude Tumusime with Kware, NTV.